The Celtics didn't just end Summer League with a win, they sent a message. Beating the previously undefeated Hawks by 21 points was more than a victory. It was a warning shot from a roster of names most fans barely know yet. But that's exactly the point. Hidden behind the scoreline is something far more important than the final result. Boston didn't roll into Vegas just to get reps. They came with a plan, a defensive identity, and a blueprint that mirrors the big club's core philosophy. But with a twist. Matt Reynolds, a first-time head coach, known mostly for holding an iPad on the bench, turned this summer league into a lab, and the experiments worked. Pressing high, jumping passing lanes, forcing breakdowns, raining threes. This wasn't casual July basketball. It was intentional, aggressive, surgical, and now, quietly, there's a new generation in the pipeline. Isaiah Wong dropped 18 with the kind of calm confidence that makes you do a double take. Yalon Bridges and Benjamin Gregg put up efficient numbers, but it's not about the box score. It's about the system they're buying into and the roles they're already learning to play. Boston forced 15 turnovers and drilled 17 threes. And those stats didn't come from chaos, they came from structure. Amari Williams is already flashing court vision rare for his position. Max Shulga plays like someone who knows he doesn't have a second to waste, and Miles Norris, the late addition, who still feels like a secret, might just be the most plug-and-play ready name on the list. Size, shooting, versatility. It's not about who he was at college, it's about who he's quietly becoming. One scout put it bluntly, if he gets real minutes, he won't give them back. And then there's Hugo Gonzalez. Raw, volatile, unpredictable, but under the surface, tools, serious ones. A wing who defends like it's personal and moves like he knows he was built for more than Europe. His stats may not grab you yet, but he led the team in plus for a reason. Some players sat out the final game, but that only cleared the stage for the new blood to prove their value. The Celtics won't play again until October 8th, but don't think for a second this chapter is closed. The names you saw in Summer League may not be on every jersey yet, but the seeds were planted. Something is growing in Boston, and when it blooms, it's not going to be quiet. What if the biggest move of the NBA offseason isn't about who the Celtics keep, but who they dare to let go? Imagine the unthinkable, then realize it's already on the table. A wild three-team trade idea that detonates the offseason silence and sends Jaylen Brown, Boston's homegrown warrior, two-way engine, and finals hero to the Memphis Grizzlies. Not as a rumor, not as a maybe one-day scenario, but as a legitimate structure with names, picks, and consequences. And here's the twist. This isn't just a rebuild move. This isn't Boston giving up. This could be the exact kind of risk that keeps the Celtics dangerous. Why? Because behind every seismic trade lies one uncomfortable truth. Even dynasties must evolve. Jaylen Brown has never been just another star in green. He's been the soul of the Celtics grind, the one who played through noise, injuries, and near trades to bring home Banner 18. But in his own words, something shifted. I disagree with a lot of things, he admitted recently, stripping away the PR gloss and revealing that maybe, just maybe, his chapter in Boston is closer to the final page than we thought. This trade doesn't just send him away, it drops him into Memphis, alongside Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., creating a terrifying trio in the West. And it doesn't stop there. Anfernee Simons lands in Chicago, giving the Bulls the scoring punch they've been desperately lacking. But all eyes would land on Boston's return. This isn't a salary dump. This is a calculated play. The Celtics would receive Kobe White, an ascending scorer with playoff composure, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a proven championship role piece, Gigi Jackson, a young wild card with sky-high upside, plus Aldama's floor spacing and versatility. Sprinkle in multiple picks, and suddenly, Boston isn't collapsing. It's pivoting. What if Brad Stevens knows exactly what he's doing? What if this trade arms Tatum with a deeper, more flexible roster and unlocks a version of the Celtics we haven't seen yet? Fans will scream, analysts will panic. But here's the truth. Nobody wants to admit sometimes the boldest way to win again is letting go of who you were. So now the question is, would you dare pull the trigger? Jason Tatum just shattered every expectation with one Instagram post. And nobody saw it coming just over 2 months after what many feared would define his offseason. A brutal Achilles tear in the final minutes of a heroic 42-point game for Jason Tatum has flipped the narrative on its head. In a post that stunned fans and insiders alike, Tatum revealed he's already out of the walking boot. Yes, already. And that changes everything. This wasn't just any injury. Achilles tears have buried careers, halted dynasties, and rewritten legacies. And yet, somehow, Tatum is moving differently. His surgery came just 18 hours after the injury. And that detail alone is more than just medical trivia. It's a major factor in what could be a historic recovery timeline. ESPN's Stefania Bell pointed out that athletes who undergo surgery within 48 hours show better healing at the microscopic level. Think faster recovery, stronger tendons, cleaner returns. So why does this matter so much now? Because Tatum isn't simply walking early, he's working. No cameras, no press, just raw gym footage and quiet grind. He was spotted last week, still in a boot, mentoring players at Chattanooga. Now, that boot is gone, and the silence around his rehab just became the loudest statement of the summer. This isn't about pushing timelines or betting against biology. It's about who Tatum is. While timelines for Achilles recovery average 10 months in the NBA, Tatum's intensity, discipline, and sheer obsession with greatness have always set him apart. He's not racing the calendar. He's beating it. And here's the twist that should have every Celtics fan buzzing. This isn't just about his return. It's about what this signals behind closed doors. What kind of shape he'll be in by training camp. What version of Tatum the league will see when he laces up again. The league thought it had a window of calm, a temporary pause in Tatum. Ascent. That illusion may already be over. The work never stopped. And if this update is any indication, neither did the mission. The comeback isn't just ahead of schedule, it might be unforgettable. Celtics quietly shopping $100 million guard as front office raises eyebrows with bold moves. Something strange is happening in Boston, and it's flying under the radar. Despite a dizzying offseason that's already seen 2 starters traded, the Celtics are still working the phones. And now, sources confirm the front office is seriously exploring deals involving their latest high-profile acquisition. Before he's even suited up for a single minute in green, Anfernee Simons arrived from Portland as part of the JRG Holiday trade, a swap that initially looked like a smart way to get younger, cheaper, and more dynamic in the backcourt. Simons, just 26 years old, brings elite shooting, explosive scoring upside, and a contract that doesn't choke future flexibility. But here's what's not being said out loud. The Celtics may have never intended to keep him. According to multiple insiders, Boston is actively engaged in talks to reroute Simons again. Why? It's not about fit, it's not about performance, it's something deeper, more strategic, and frankly, a bit unsettling for fans trying to piece together what Brad Stevens is really building behind the curtain. Jake Fisher reported that trade conversations involving Simons and George's knee are ongoing, with Memphis recently entering the picture. But it's not just Memphis. League sources indicate Boston is casting a wide net, looking for specific pieces or even further financial relief as they pivot toward a new chapter in the post-Tatum injury era. And yes, you read that right. With Jason Tatum sidelined for the entire season following a brutal Achilles tear, the Celtics are recalibrating. But this isn't a white flag. This is a chess move. Every dollar saved, every roster spot freed, every calculated gamble is positioning Boston for a rapid relaunch. Simons may very well thrive as a second unit star on a contender or even emerge as a starting caliber piece somewhere else. But in Boston, the silence around his role is telling. The urgency in the front office is even louder. This isn't a rebuild, it's a reset. And the real surprise might not be Simons' exit. It's what Boston is planning in the background. While the league isn't watching closely enough, the Celtics have never operated this quietly while holding this many cards. Whatever comes next won't be predictable, but it could change everything.